May 31st, 2013. Forecasters warned of another tornado threat in Oklahoma, but no one predicted what is about to emerge. Within minutes, a churning vortex exploded to a world record 2.6 miles wide, unleashing nearly supersonic winds and trapping hundreds of storm chasers and drivers in its unpredictable path. How could a single storm swing from a meteorological rarity to history's deadliest day for storm chasers? The answer begins with a convergence no one saw coming. By sunrise on May 31st, 2013, Oklahoma stood on edge. Just 11 days earlier, the town of Moore had been torn apart by an EF5 tornado, leaving 24 dead and a region raw with anxiety. That morning, the Storm Prediction Center issued a moderate risk for central Oklahoma, an alert that carried extra weight in the shadow of recent tragedy. Meteorologists tracked a volatile setup. Warm, humid air streaming north from the Gulf of Mexico collided with a surge of dry, cool air from the Rockies. The boundary between these air masses, known as the dry line, acted like a fuse. Atmospheric instability soared, and wind shear promised to spin any thunderstorm into a supercell. Emergency managers wasted no time. Schools and hospitals received urgent emails to review disaster plans and brace for severe weather. By midday, the roads around Oklahoma City began to fill, not just with residents wary of another outbreak, but with a surge of storm chasers. Hundreds arrived from across the country, drawn by radar signatures and social media buzz. Never before had so many chasers converged on a single target. Convoys snaked through rural roads, GPS trackers lit up leaderboards, and radio channels hummed with anticipation. The highways and back roads west of El Reno braced for a collision of nature and humanity. Each vehicle carried its own mission, some chasing science, others chasing adrenaline, all drawn to the promise of a rare and violent storm. As the afternoon wore on, the sky grew heavy and the air thickened, waiting for the first spark to ignite the chaos. At 6:03 p.m., a tornado touched down in open farmland west-southwest of El Reno. What began as a narrow funnel instantly showed its power, spinning up multiple smaller vortices that orbited the main core, a tornado inside a tornado. Within minutes, it intensified, drawing in rain and debris until the entire circulation became shrouded in a gray wall, nearly impossible to see from a distance. Chasers tracking the storm by radar and by eye struggled to pinpoint its true edge. The beast had been born. Just 15 minutes after forming, the tornado underwent explosive growth. In the space of about 30 seconds, its diameter swelled to 2.6 miles, wider than any tornado ever measured, a new record. That is enough to swallow entire towns or to stretch across a city from end to end. Mobile Doppler radar teams stationed nearby captured wind speeds inside the sub-vortices peaking at 313 miles per hour, almost on par with the most violent winds ever recorded on Earth. Radar screens lit up with colors few meteorologists had seen outside of simulation. The tornado's movement then turned unpredictable. It started southeast at a steady 20 miles per hour, then without warning, pivoted northeast and accelerated to 55 miles per hour. This sudden shift sent the massive circulation barreling toward roads and highways, catching even seasoned chasers off guard. The sheer width, the hidden violence inside its rain-wrapped shroud, and the abrupt change in direction combined to create a threat unlike anything Oklahoma had faced. The monster now bore down on a landscape crowded with people, most of whom had no idea how close they stood to disaster. The danger was immediate and absolute. Tim Samara spent his life chasing the heart of storms, not for the thrill, but for answers. As the founder of Twistex, he built instruments that could measure the very breath of a tornado. His son Paul, a gifted photographer, rode beside him, 2 generations sharing a single mission. Carl Young, a meteorologist and trusted partner, completed the team. Years of experience and caution shaped their every move. On May 31st, 2013, their Chevrolet Cobalt rolled along Reuter Road, tracking the El Reno tornado as it shifted and grew beyond anything in their records. Rain hammered the windshield. The tornado's true edge was masked by a wall of gray. Their escape route, chosen with care, suddenly vanished when a sub-vortex broke away from the main circulation and darted toward them at highway speed. In those last moments, urgency filled the car. Dan Robinson, another chaser just ahead, sensed the change and accelerated east. His dashcam later showed he cleared the danger by less than 30 seconds. For Twistex, the margin was gone. The sub-vortex stalled directly over their car. Paul and Carl were thrown half a mile from the wreckage. Tim was found still belted in the passenger seat, the cobalt crushed beyond recognition. These were the first professional storm chasers lost in the field. Their deaths sent a shockwave through the community, a reminder that even the most careful science can be overtaken by nature's fury. Richard Henderson left his home that evening with a cell phone in hand, drawn by the promise of a view. He stopped near a rural intersection just outside El Reno and snapped a photo of the tornado, still believing he stood at a safe distance. Seconds later, the storm's outer winds swept him away, making him one of 8 people killed that day, all in vehicles and caught by surprise. On Interstate 40, Maria Paul Martin tried to comfort her newborn son as traffic ground to a halt in both directions. She unbuckled her seatbelt to reach the crying baby in the back. The tornado's winds struck without warning, flipping the minivan and ejecting both mother and child. Maria was 26. Ray was just 17 days old. Dustin Bridges, 32, found himself trapped behind a stalled vehicle as the tornado crossed the highway. With nowhere to go, he was caught in the chaos. Emergency crews later counted 151 injuries, many from cars tossed across fields or crushed under debris. The Weather Channel's Mike Betts and his crew felt their SUV lifted and rolled, glass shattering around them. They survived with minor injuries. Other chasers like Reed Timmer and the KFOR news team saw their vehicles battered by flying debris and downed power lines. The randomness of survival and loss played out in seconds, leaving behind a tangle of overturned cars and broken lives. In the aftermath, scientists turned to the mountain of data left behind. The tornado environment display, known as TED, became their lens. Using synchronized radar scans, GPS logs from chase vehicles, and hundreds of hours of dashcam footage, researchers reconstructed the tornado's path second by second. The result was a digital map of a storm unlike any seen before. Over the course of 40 minutes, the El Reno tornado carved a 16.2-mile track across the Oklahoma plains, its width and speed captured in unprecedented detail. TED revealed a hidden order inside the chaos, wheel within wheel, sub-vortices each spinning along its own looping path, sometimes nearly stationary, sometimes surging ahead. This pattern, trochoidal motion, explained why the tornado seemed to stand still one moment and lunge forward the next. For the first time, meteorologists could follow the invisible dance that had confounded even the most seasoned chasers. Every data point was a clue, each frame a step closer to understanding the true nature of the monster that swept across El Reno. The aftermath of El Reno forced hard questions about how tornadoes are classified and how warnings are delivered. The enhanced Fujita scale used by the National Weather Service relies only on what a tornado destroys. Even with radar showing winds of 313 miles per hour, the second highest ever recorded on Earth, the rating for El Reno stood at EF3 because the tornado's path spared major structures. Many in the storm chasing and meteorology communities pushed for radar data to count toward official intensity, arguing that the numbers alone told a story of power rarely seen. Officials held firm, citing the need for consistent, damage-based standards the public could understand. Meanwhile, debates raged over public messaging. During the chaos, some broadcasters urged viewers to flee by car, a move that contributed to gridlock and put more lives at risk. Emergency managers and chase leaders called for reforms, emphasizing the need for clear, science-backed guidance in moments of crisis. Out of the tragedy, a new mantra took hold among chasers and forecasters alike. If a tornado looks like it is not moving, it is coming at you. The Reuter Road Memorial stands as a reminder that every decision in the field carries weight and that safety must always come first. Today, supercells form with little warning, and highways still become escape routes. The El Reno event proves even experts cannot outrun chaos, reminding us that nature's extremes do not obey expectation or expertise. Every storm season, that lesson grows more urgent. Share your thoughts below.